Hey everyone, my name is Florian Loon and welcome to my channel Loonberjack. I am sitting here on a black walnut tree that came down about 2 months ago, took with it part of this elm tree which is right next to me. And this is one of the main reasons why I bought a sawmill and started this YouTube channel. I've started using an Alaskan sawmill some years ago, and I was always fascinated by turning raw wood into something cool, into something useful like furniture. Or one of my first projects was a chessboard that I created using walnut tree, right this one right behind me, and a tulip poplar which also fell in my backyard some years ago. If you want to watch the video how I did this, you can click right here. So if you want to follow me on my journey of how I clean all those trees, how I move them uphill, and how I process them into lumber, then subscribe to my channel and enjoy the videos. So far, this has been the easy part. I have removed all the twigs and branches that I could easily reach, and now I'm left with this massive main branch, which I need to cut. I removed a point of tension over there where it was leaning against another tree. I'm standing uphill now, and now let's cut this. this went pretty well. One of the mistakes I did was I made the undercut too far up, so too deep into the wood. So when I just made a small cut to release the tension, the branch already came down. Now what I wanted to show you is I made two undercuts here. One is a Humboldt undercut or back cut, and this one will be a conventional. If you'd imagine this would be a tree standing, those are two tree cutting techniques. Now what I want to show you is the difference in those cuts on a branch that extends horizontally is the way it falls. Now with this one, with the Humboldt one, I'm going to cut here and the branch should more or less fall down horizontally, while with the conventional one it should kind of bend down and fall like this then vertically. So let's see if that works. I think that showed it pretty well. I also have now my first piece of walnut that I believe is large enough to take up to the sawmill and cut into lumber. I don't have a measuring tape with me, but I'd say it's about 10 to 12 inches total, maybe 8 inches of hardwood, and it looks very nice. But before I do that, I am going to cut up the branch that I cut down. In order to be able to move the logs up the hill that way to where my sawmill is, I'm going to have to clear all this greenbrier thornbush behind me. So let's get started. So now that I cut my first logs, I started moving them up the hill, and I want to show you the setup that I'm using to do that. The first thing here in green is a so-called logging claw or a log tongue, which has really sharp teeth on those sides, and if a pulling force is applied with this winch in that case, then they close up and they bite into the log, which then allows it to haul it away. The second thing here is this 1,500-pound drill winch. That should be more than enough. It operates with this drill driver. So you just connect it right here and then use that drill driver. And the last thing is a wire rope, which is tied around this tree and then hooked into this winch. So that works pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not the fastest way, but it's definitely an easier way, or the only way compared to me trying to get it up with my own force. I'm going to use this very stable looking tree to tie the wire rope around it. And then, oh, this could be the perfect length. Ah, but not quite. Oh, I can actually move the log a bit. That's good. This should be. There you go. Okay. Now let's haul. Now the next piece of this elm tree, which I'm going to cut, will be interesting because the moment I cut it, it's going to roll down this very steep hill. So my hope is I put the claw on here and I put it under tension, that the claw will just hold it and I can just pull it up so it won't fall down the hill. Perfect, this worked out exactly as I planned. Awesome. This will be the real first test for the winch. This is a bigger log now. It's still soaking wet. It's about 6-7 feet long. And I cut this little notch in here to reduce the stopping power when I pull it upwards. So I'm going to roll it over and then see if the winch is powerful enough. So this is pretty cool. You can see how wet the log is. Now this is uphill, so this looks dry. Now going on the other side, you can see this is dripping wet. This worked amazing. Okay, we are down to the main part of the tree. I started measuring it up and dividing it into different sections. Marked it with the color right here. I'm using this cutting guide to see and to measure out the straightest portions of the tree. So I have my first part all the way on this side. Now the cutting guide is exactly 100 inches long. So I used that and I added 5 inches with the intention to have 8 feet, depending on how much I'm gonna have to remove using the chainsaw. And now the second piece or the second section as you can see, It's sagging a bit here, so it's not completely straight. So the second piece I want to cut, I shortened to about 5 feet. So a 5 feet, which is really straight. If you look at the guide, and then the next section again, I measured 100 inches, added 5. It's not completely super straight, but if I put it down over there, I have like an inch of a drop, so that's not bad at all. So I'm gonna have 8 foot, 5 foot, 8 foot, and the very last piece, almost up to the root, leaving about 2 feet of trunk gives me another 8 foot section of the tree. So we have 3 8 foot and 1 5 foot. That is pretty neat. Now, the difficult part is cutting it. My plan is to make the first cut right here. Now, as soon as I cut it, the tree is going to open up and moving downhill. So I plan to secure this side behind me with the claw. I'm a bit concerned about this main part because the root system that's uprooted there is really loose, and I don't know how much this is going to hold on. So I'm a bit concerned that as soon as I cut it, the entire tree is just going to fall down, and there's this huge ditch, which would make it almost impossible to retrieve it from there. So I'm going to strap it to a tree right here, and I don't think it's actually going to roll down, but it's heavy and it's a pretty steep hill. So I will strap it up to the tree right here, and that should hopefully secure it. And yeah, let's see. Now let's see how the winch is holding up with that 8-foot log, or 9 foot almost. So I got my 4 pieces. I got my 4 sections halfway up the hill. It's working great. Just better than expected, actually. And I'm very happy, excited. Maybe I get to do my first cuts even today. So let's see. I did it! All the logs moved uphill right next to my chainsaw behind me. Chainsaw. Like chainsaw, Emma. I did it! All the logs are now moved up right next to my sawmill. It is hard to put in words the level of accomplishment that I'm feeling right now, but it is amazing. And even better now is when the fun work starts, meaning milling all those logs. So to summarize, I got my 4 main pieces of the walnut right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sitting on a 5th one, which is almost equal in size, but which was part of the upper part of the tree. And then I have 4 American elm pieces, each about 4 foot, 4 to 5 feet in size, medium sized, and then some smaller walnut logs, which I cut in the beginning. I am really happy with how everything went hauling those logs up. There were, most importantly, no accidents and no setbacks, really. The winch and the drill driver did an amazing job. I was concerned at times that it would stop working because it just got so hot, but it was really a good test for the Milwaukee drill driver. It was amazing. I did buy some additional batteries because I just burned through the batteries. So that is recommended to have plenty of batteries if you do such a job. But then again, those were really heavy logs, especially the last 4 ones that I hauled up. So now the fun work starts. Let's start milling those, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. All right, I did my first cut. This American Elm looks pretty nice. Has some reddish color around here, but it smells awful. And I checked it out and it's true. American Elm doesn't smell good. First log finished. I got some nice 3, 6, 9 boards out of it. They are a little less than 4 feet in length and 7 inches width. Now you can see some are a bit rotten that I have to cut off, but overall the pattern looks very nice. All right, so let's continue now with the walnut tree. I'm gonna mill the smaller ones first. Although this is not the small one, this is just a thick one, but relatively short. And then we'll go to the main parts. Look at those beauties. So I got exactly 6 boards, 2 1-inch, 2 1.5, and 2 2-inch. See the different thickness right here. Amazing. Wow. And now what I heard is very important right after cutting to seal off the ends or the end grain using this anchor seal right here. So for these next logs, I decided to get some help. Magic Fairy, can you please come? Yay!
Body boo changes like through and through. Body boo changes like through and through. Body boo changes like through and through.
Wow, that was amazing! Can you now move everything up there?
Now you have to do it by yourself.
Okay. This is it. I can't believe this moment has finally come. What you see in front of you is an entire walnut tree with a 17-inch diameter milled into lumber. 5 different stacks. The first 2 right here are the main parts, the 5 pieces of the trunk, and then I got some smaller ones that I cut at the top of the tree. Now I did the math. We're looking at around 360 board feet of lumber. I hope, or I think I was conservative with my measurements. I took out, or I didn't measure the sapwood, like you see here. So I only took into account the nice and dark hardwood, and I took off 1/8 of an inch in thickness, taking into account any planing or sanding. So I really hope they won't warp. I stacked them nicely, and yeah, 360 board feet. If you look at apparently $12 a board feet value, I am standing right here at $4,320 of lumber. And that's more than my sawmill has cost me. So this is awesome. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting. Give it a like, subscribe to my channel to stay up to date and see more videos like this.